Have you ever wondered what a firewall actually does? You hear the term thrown around all the time, and it sounds pretty complex, right? Well, the idea behind it is surprisingly simple. Today, we're going to break it all down with an analogy I promise you'll never forget. Let's dive in.
Welcome to Super Courseva. Unlock the secrets of the internet and master computer networking. Let's dive in.
So let's just start with this question. Imagine your entire computer network, your Wi-Fi at home, the network at your office. What if it had its own security guard? A person standing right at the main entrance, checking everybody who tries to come in. What would their job be? Just hold that thought, because it's the key to understanding, well, everything. Because that security guard, that's our digital bouncer, and that's how we're going to think about this. We're going to figure out a firewall's main job by picturing it as a bouncer at the door of the most exclusive club in the world, your network.
Okay, so let's get the official definition out of the way. A firewall is just a system designed to block digital traffic based on a set of rules. For our bouncer, that means his job is to stand at the gate and check every single piece of data that tries to get in. If your name's not on the list, you are not getting past the velvet rope. It really is that simple. And it's your primary defense against all sorts of digital troublemakers.
So how does our bouncer know who to let in and who to turn away? I mean, it's not just a random gut feeling, right? Every good bouncer has a guest list. And for a firewall, that list is very, very specific.
And that guest list, it's all about something called port numbers. The easiest way to think about it is like a giant apartment building with thousands of different doors, and each door has a number on it. Web traffic uses one door, email uses another, file transfers use a totally different one. These doors are the ports, and the firewall's whole job is just deciding which of those doors are allowed to open.
So here's what that looks like in action. A little piece of data, what we call a packet, shows up at the door. It says, hey, I'm here for port 80, which is the standard door for websites. The firewall checks its list and says, port 80? Web traffic? Yeah, you're on the list. Come on in. But then, another packet arrives. This one wants to go to port 22. Now that's a special door. It's often used for direct access to control the whole system. Basically, it's like asking for the keys to the entire building. The firewall sees that and says, whoa, nope, sorry pal, you are not on the list for this door. Access denied.
So let's see how this plays out in a real-world situation. This isn't just theory. This kind of decision is happening millions of times a second on servers all across the internet. We'll just use a typical small business server to see how it works.
So picture a server in a small office. It has to do two totally different things. First, it runs the company's public website so customers can browse their products. Second, it stores all the private, confidential company files that only employees should ever be able to touch. You see the challenge here, right? We have to let the whole world in for one reason, but keep them completely out for another, all on the very same machine. And the solution, thanks to our firewall, is actually pretty elegant. It just needs two simple rules. For the public website on port 80, the rule is allow. Easy. Customers can connect. But for the private files, which use port 21, the rule is block all traffic from the outside. The result? The website works perfectly for the public, and any hacker trying to snoop on those private files is stopped cold at the door.
Okay, so now we know what our bouncer does, but let's talk about where they work. Because it turns out you don't just have one kind of security. You have different guards posted at different spots.
You've really got two main places you'll find a firewall. First is the network firewall. This is the big one. This is the security guard at the main gate of the whole property, a dedicated piece of hardware protecting the entire office. Then you have the host-based firewall. Think of this as the lock on your own bedroom door. It's software running right there on your laptop, like Windows Defender, and its job is to protect just that one single device.
And this brings us to what is probably the single most important piece of advice in all of cybersecurity. Use both. It's a strategy called defense in depth, and the reason is simple. No security is perfect. If some really clever attacker manages to sneak past that main gate guard, you absolutely want to make sure your personal office door is still locked up tight. One layer protects the group, the other protects you.
So, we've covered a lot of ground here, right? From club bouncers to port numbers to gate guards. Let's just take a second and pull this all together into a clear, simple digital defense plan.
Let's recap the big ideas. First thing to remember, a firewall is your network's bouncer. It's there to stop unwanted traffic. Second, it decides who gets in by checking its guest list, which is really a list of IP addresses and those all-important port numbers. Third, it's crucial to have both kinds of protection, the big network gate guard and your personal door lock. And at the end of the day, the goal is super simple. Let the good traffic in and keep the bad actors out.
And that brings me to the final thought I really want to leave you with. When you think about your own digital life, your network at home, your personal laptop, ask yourself this one simple question. Is your main gate and your bedroom door locked? Because in today's world, you absolutely need both.